Hello everyone, I'm Cody.
I'm David.
Welcome to Curse 20. Okay, so our actual play, The Cursed Ones, is coming to an end. Not today, not tomorrow, but we are in the halfway through the last act. We're in the end game. So I'm planning our next campaign, and it's going to be not a little bit, it's going to be a lot of home brewing. We decided on a space campaign, so that will be fun for me to figure out how to run a space campaign. Dave, what kind of vibe are you hoping for in this campaign?
I know when you first said space campaign, my first thought in my mind was like space pirates sort of feel of like hopping around planet to planet, up to no good, but also like up to good, where like
Mm-hmm.
maybe we're not necessarily just out there as a band of adventurers trying to save the world, but
Okay.
maybe through our dealings, all of a sudden now we have no choice but to save the world. Sort of a feel. I really like that aspect of it.
So you're
Um,
going for space pirate? Let me get if I get this right. Space pirate who accidentally. How do you spell accidentally? I can't spell.
ACCIDENT
Ly. That's what I'm
LY
going with.
LEY. I don't know if there's a E. I don't think so.
Saves galaxy.
We'll cut that
No.
out.
Okay. All right. So
I mean,
yeah,
as
no.
far as like the full like campaign kind of vibes, that's I think what would appeal to me most about a space campaign.
And we've talked about this before. You want more room for it to be lighthearted and like not funny is like a thing that's like abstract. Like you want a more lighthearted feel because Strahd has felt very um suffocating. It's felt very harsh. It's
Yeah,
felt very
heavy,
heavy,
oppressive,
oppressive. You
but
want
like
like a I have room to like
yeah, yeah. Like
it,
our last campaign was very much like we can do whatever we can do. There's
mm-hmm.
so many different options. It's up to you which option you want to take and what part of the world you want to explore. And I like
Okay.
I like the idea of maybe we have to go to this planet to do a job, whatever the job is, right? Maybe because another part of it is like my character thoughts that I have make it pretty easy, I think, for my guy specifically that I'm planning to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it easier to be like, hey, my guy's just doing his job. And in the process of him doing his job, some crazy shit happened. And now he's got no choice but to like get on this bandwagon.
I see. Okay. I like that. Okay. Well then let me kind of tell you what I have like world building wise have already like established for the campaign. Okay. So and then if you did this is when like your input will come into play and because this is like what I've started writing out and thinking of, but I'm it's all subject to change, right? So it's a big galaxy and it doesn't take place in like the Faerun universe of D&D. I would say it takes place just like in an alternate version of our universe where elves and dwarves and everybody end up being real.
Okay.
And then this is like would be like 10 or 20,000 years in the future from where we're at right now. And like so like your dates then would be based off of like it would be called like BC or like BSE and ASE, like before space exploration and after space exploration. Like there'd be like
Okay.
a point in our like alternative
Yeah.
history where we figured out how to start exploring space,
Yeah.
and then now we're like 20,000 ASE after space exploration, right?
Okay.
So like some of the
So you're
things,
thinking like a almost a Warhammer sort of like
yeah,
timeline.
yeah, like kind of like I think of like Halo. It's like an alternate version of our universe where humanity did end up spreading out
Yeah.
through the stars. But we're so far. I want it so, but it's going to be so far in the future that we're actually outside of like the Milky Way galaxy. Like the Milky Way galaxy and like Terra, planet Earth, is like ancient history at this point, right?
Okay.
And we're humanity is so far removed past that that it's like talking like if you were to talk about like World War II, that'd be almost like a myth. It's
Okay.
so far in the past, people would consider it like that may or may not have been a real war.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and like your connection to like home Earth was like destroyed so much that it's like rumors and myths and stuff like that. Like
Right.
that kind of stuff. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like it's so far in the future.
So you're telling me nobody knows who Led Zeppelin is?
He's the one thing that everybody knows for a fact is real. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Let me tell you how like, let me get to you a little bit more into like the physicality of how the galaxy is going to break down. So the name of the galaxy that the game is going to be taking place in, I don't know if you can see it. Also, don't make fun of my handwriting. It'll be Diem. You can't really see it. I'm just going to use the whiteboard for me at this point. Diem is the name of the galaxy, and it's named after basically what is, for now, we'll call it the center planet. And this was like the first planet that humanity landed on in this galaxy, and they called it Diem, and now the galaxy takes its name from this like center planet. In like Star Wars term, think of it like Coruscant. This is like the center of the galaxy. Even though Coruscant's not technically in the center.
But that's like
right.
the
Like the
civilizational.
This is like the civilization and economical center of the galaxy.
Gotcha.
And it is the planet Diem. We'll just call it Atto for now. The planet Atto is an independent planet. It doesn't belong to any other planet, like any like galaxy spanning like kingdom or anything like that. It's like its own independent. But there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 galaxy-wide kingdoms. Okay, so there are 10 warring factions. Not necessarily all warring. Okay, now that I've said that, let me actually let me like backtrack a sec. A little bit more history about what's happening in the galaxy now. Most of these kingdoms are at war with each other. There's constant fighting. You hear news of battles all the time. In Atto, maybe that'll be just the name of the planet, Atto, and then Diem will be the name of the galaxy. That was a world thing right now on screen. The name of the main planet is just Atto. Atto itself is peaceful, right? And nobody dares to like mess with it because I have to figure it out. But like the stability of Atto, if it falls, the whole like galaxy will like implode. So like even the warring factions, like they're not gonna bring the war to Atto. It's like the one peaceful.
Yeah, that's like the economic trade center.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense. Like
yeah.
If the orcs need to buy food, they're buying food from Atto.
Yes.
But if the elves need to sell food, they're not selling food directly to the orcs. They're selling food to Atto.
Yeah, and then everybody like weapons trade, stuff like that. Everything kind of runs.
Everything goes through Atto.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like it definitely. This is just the Star Wars brain in me. It almost should be some sort of like evil, but not evil, like just ruling faction. Not necessarily ruling, but like I feel like there's got to be some sort of like underhandedly like there's a reason why all those planets have no other option but to go through there, you know?
Yeah, and I think we're kind of like on the same page. Obviously, that'll be a line you guys have to find in the campaign.
Because there's so many different reasons why that could be. It could be because they've set up political alliances and like done backdoor deals so that these people hate each other, but they hate each other because that's what that planet Atto wanted them to do, right? But then it could also just be the natural way of how the universe developed, and then that galaxy developed, and then they like exacerbated the problem and just used it to push themselves up to power. So it's not necessarily as nefarious, if you will.
No, I mean,
but yeah,
something. Yeah, I think we're kind of like along the same lines when it comes to like, obviously, in the start of the campaign, it'll be like this is like the peaceful world, and as you go through the game, you'll start uncovering more and more like quote unquote dirty secrets about Atto. Okay, so like I said, there would be 10 like overarching kingdoms that control 10 major sections of the galaxy, and then there'll be a bunch of like independent quote unquote city-state planets, like independent planets that don't have allegiance to any of
and like I'm guessing on those planets they'll have like a mixed population instead of a whole planet of one.
And I mean, like if you go to like, so I want each one of these 10 planets to like also correspond to like a D&D race, or 10 kingdoms, right? So you'll have like the elf kingdom, the dwarf kingdom, halfling kingdom, human kingdom, orc kingdom, goblin kingdom. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 more Give me like four more traditional D&D races, like as traditional as we can think.
You could almost
Gnome.
just have a whole Fae,
You have a Fey world.
like a planet of the Fae.
Okay. A gnome. Let's actually. I don't want the gnomes. The gnomes and the halflings will be on the same planet. I think
I like that.
the same kingdom, right?
I
They
like
had to
that.
join forces way back in history to be able to like keep themselves independent from like stronger species like the orcs,
I like
like the
that.
elves. Okay.
There's tieflings,
Tieflings, a tiefling planet. Actually, I like
or
that.
like just a demon planet
Um,
or a devil.
no, we'll go
planet.
tiefling.
Okay.
I have plans for demons and devils and stuff within the
Okay.
campaign, and it doesn't fit within them having their own planet. So we'll
Okay.
just call that tiefling. I like that.
Hear me out.
Okay.
A planet of all the furries, of all the animal races. So you got Leonins, you got the owl.
Yeah, animal. Okay,
Races.
so right now I'll write it down as Animal Kingdom, and I'll come up with a better name of that. But based like the Tabaxis, the Leonins, the what are the
Turtles.
Turtles, like those, like all of like the humanoid animals.
Yeah.
Are from a certain kingdom.
Yep.
We're calling them planets as we're talking, but like each kingdom will have an X amount of planets under their control, right?
It's like a few star systems that.
Yeah, exactly. Some might be bigger than others, and like I don't know, like, and this could change during the campaign, like depending on what happens in the campaign. Some might fall and get folded into others. Some might get wiped out. Some might grow, shrink. Like
as of now, they're all independent, but there still are like factions where like maybe the halflings and gnomes are teamed up with humans.
Exactly, like,
and both of them hate the orcs.
Yeah, exactly, and like the elves and the dwarves hate each other. But the humans are in good terms with both of them, so they won't join in with the war with those two. But if the elves go to war with the orcs, the humans will join, like things like that. And
Real
like,
World War II sort of.
Yeah, and that stuff.
Alliances and vibes.
And a lot of that stuff, I'm gonna start figuring out behind the screen because some of the stuff 100%. I'll be okay telling you guys. Some of the stuff I want you to find out.
And
right?
That's definitely one of those.
But at the beginning of the campaign, I will figure out where everything sits at the beginning of the campaign, and that will be information I give you guys because that will just be like information the world, like the universe, will know at that point, right?
Gotta do Dragonborn. Sorry, I was just looking.
Yes, that's
for the last race there, and I just immediately gotta have a Dragonborn planet or
exactly.
faction.
Okay. So for our 10 major factions, we have the Fae, the Tieflings, an Animal Kingdom, the Dragonborn Kingdom, a Goblin, an Orc, a Humanoid, Halflings, Dwarves, and Elves. Are we missing anybody? Should anybody be swapped out with anybody else?
Let me just double check, I guess.
Because we can always just make humans the Addo.
Yeah.
Right? And then so there's like one more. If there's one more that we really wanted to add that made sense.
You could do a Goliath. If you really wanted to do a Goliath, I could see that. But that's probably the last one of the like traditional.
What about like an elemental kingdom? It's like, oh, like if you're like a fire genasi or if you're like a water elemental, like those type of people are from like a different part of like the galaxy too. Or do we just keep it human and then everybody else? Because again, there's going to be independent city states, so you could just have like a planet that's all elementals, a planet that's just for the Goliaths, but they're normally like known as like
fair
more raiders and stuff like that.
And so it's just like the bigger ones.
Yeah, these would be like your big main kingdoms, and then Addo is a mix, but I'm going to say it's human dominated.
I feel like maybe we should combine goblins and orcs, and then we could throw in an elemental kingdom, or honestly, I think a Goliath.
You think Goliath
would make?
Okay.
I feel like a Goliath kingdom makes more sense than an elemental kingdom. Okay. But a planet full of elementals totally makes sense.
Okay, a Goliath. Okay, so Goblin Orcs have joined sides at the time of the campaign starts. So maybe there was at one point like 20, and these have all like the elves have consolidated. So maybe the elves each had like. You had like a woodland elf and the high elves and stuff like that.
Maybe each like there's a whole planetary system for wood elves, a whole planetary system for high elves, a whole planetary system for dark elves.
Yeah, and that's not like it's not like you'll go to like the elf kingdom and never see a dwarf or a human there. It's just this is the race that dominates this and controls this section of the galaxy, right? Okay, and then there is I want to be like an 11th major faction that is based off of Addo, and it's like a quote unquote like UN style. Like their whole thing for this faction is keeping the peace between all the other ones.
Oh, you could totally use the ASMR for that.
Okay.
Like being
ASMR Peace Corps, basically.
Yeah, and like being the descendants of godly beings, essentially, would totally lend that would lend itself to being an ideal, like that group of people would then have the idea that like, oh, we are the ones that need to be in control of everything. We are the ones that have the power and the righteousness behind us to actually enact.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like the Asimir idea because like they're descended from godly figures and they're here trying to bring peace to the galaxy based off of like who they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feel like it would just give them a reason why they would feel morally obligated to be like the peacekeepers of the universe or whatever like that.
Okay. Um,
Especially their long lives and stuff. Like, I mean, I guess it's not that long in comparison to elves and whatnot, but
no, it makes sense. Now I want to talk to you about like some of like the driving forces for the start of like what you guys are going to get into. So how I imagine the game starting is somehow you guys all work for this Peace Corps faction, right? On Addo. And I think we've already said it's like you're then to be like one of like the engineer, like the main engineers for this. Like
I think my main character idea, just to kind of go over that real quick, I want my character to be like a real Doc Brown sort of situation where like he's a mad scientist, he's crazy. I think originally it was a human that had a crazy experiment done to him, or maybe it was just an accident that happened. You know, we can definitely flesh that out a little more. But now he's a plasmoid. Ooh. And so I wanted to be a plasmoid race, but be like an engineer, like a spaceship mechanic, basically.
I love that. Yeah. Actually, that actually kind of works for what I'm going for because you guys are going to start off, I think, around level 8-ish because I want you guys to be like established people already in the world because you guys are going to be sent from this peacekeeping faction to one of these factions as like a diplomatic mission about like maybe you'd be sent to the elves about can we figure out a way to get you guys peace with the dwarves or something like that, right?
Okay.
And you guys will be working for a dude named Nero. He'll kind of be like your liaison, if that makes sense. He'll be like your guys' like point of contact for those people.
Okay.
And so you'll be working for a guy named Nero, and you'll be just being sent on like that'll be the start of the campaign. You'll be sent to one of these, and then so where we're at, there's warring factions all the way around. War has been like destroying the galaxy. There's rumors of like an outer galaxy faction like approaching. So the peacekeeping faction is really trying to get everybody on the same side because like there's rumors that the whole galaxy is about to be invaded from like an outside faction.
Like the flood.
Yeah, like the flood. So like, or like when like in like Star Wars Legends, Emperor Palpatine, the reason why he made the Empire and built the Death Star in like Legends wasn't the Death Star wasn't to keep the galaxy under the control. It was to fight the Yusong Vong, an outer galaxy species. And Palpatine, as the senator and a Sith Lord, found out about them and was like, "Well, I need to make sure the galaxy's strong." And that's why he like did what quote unquote did what he did.
Yeah.
In Legends, something along those lines. Like there's like an outside force coming to invade, and the galaxy kind of needs to get their crap together to fight off.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna be playing like a chaotic neutral / chaotic good character.
Yeah.
That's just along for the ride.
Yeah. I love it. I'm so excited for this. All right, everybody. This has been another episode of Curse 20. Keep watching our Curse One's actual play as it comes to an end here in the next couple of weeks. And keep a lookout for a couple of new campaigns we have coming up in the future. We got some videos on Pathfinder coming out and a couple one-shots on Pathfinder planned for the future as well. Please like, subscribe, and share to your friends. Thank you.